York, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Monday. It is December 8th, 2025. It's me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. The fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Lot of stuff to talk about today. Lot of stuff. We'll try to hit all of it in our 120 minutes of joy and frivolity. But here we go. How much time should we actually spend on the Jets? Because they didn't spend that much time actually competing yesterday. They were down 21-0. 21-0, and there was still 3:39 remaining in the first quarter. That was to a Dolphins team that's been playing much better of late, much better since they fired their GM. And the Dolphins end up beating the Jets 34-10. The only touchdown the Jets scored on a punt return. Their special teams they've been special this year. They actually do a very, very good job. But for the most part, the Jets don't. Now, Tyrod Taylor was hurt right away with a groin injury. He was 1 for 4 for 6 yards, and then had to leave the game. So that means they had to bring in a youngster who had not played before, Brady Cook, an undrafted player out of college. And he didn't do that badly, but obviously he was nervous at the beginning, and they didn't really open it up for him that much. He was 14 for 60 and really didn't do much to get the Jets moving offensively, so they lose 34-10. The Jets had won 3 of 5 leading into this game, but here's the thing that is puzzling to me. The one thing that we knew about Aaron Glenn is that he had put together a pretty stout defense for the Detroit Lions. He was the defensive coordinator, and he got hired because of his work he did with the defense in Detroit. The Jet defense is dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. So they gave away all these rushing yards, 239 rushing yards on 39 carries. That's an unsightly 5.8 yards per carry. So that means every 2 carries, they get a first down. Every 2 carries, they get a first down. I know they traded Williams. I know they traded Sauce Gardner. But to be this ineffective and continue to still not have an interception. They didn't get an interception against Tua Tagovailoa, who is a guy, he's an interception machine. He leads the NFL in interceptions. Now, they dropped a couple, but that's an unbelievable stat to me that they don't have an interception yet with only 4 games remaining in the season. It's amazing. But what's most amazing and most concerning is this is supposed to be Aaron Glenn's forte, and the defense stunk, and it has not been good. And the 3 games they won out of the last 5, they're against lousy teams. And the defense didn't play that great. So who's going to be the one who's the sacrificial lamb? Is it going to be Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator? Because I don't think Aaron Glenn's going to wear it. He is the head coach, and Steve Wilks, who's got a pretty good reputation in the NFL, is a defensive coordinator, and they can't do it. They simply cannot do it. The defense has been awful all year. And even before they traded Sauce and Quinnen Williams, even before, they were not good. So what's the excuse? Who gets the blame? I don't think it's going to be Aaron Glenn. He'll say, listen, I'm the facilitator here. I'm the CEO. I let Steve Wilks run the defense. Let's see if Steve Wilks keeps his job. Let's see if he keeps his job. One more thing about our New York Jets. Because they'd won 3 of their last 5, they still were not officially eliminated from playoff consideration. But 34-10 against the Dolphins yesterday, that officially eliminated them from playoff contention. They've gone 15 years without being in the playoffs. Do you realize how difficult that is to do? It almost seems like you'd run into a playoff every now and then just by accident. 15 years is the longest streak in North American sports. 15 years without going to the playoffs. This is a New York team that does not have a cheap owner, who has a great facility in Florham Park, and they have not been able to once run into a playoff in 15 years. And even when they come close, they make it excruciatingly tough. Remember, they had to go to Buffalo, a bad Buffalo team. It wasn't a Josh Allen Buffalo team. And all they do is win that game, the last game of the year, and they'd be in the playoffs, and they lost. I mean, any way it can happen, it happens for the Jets. And this is a team that has the gall, the onions, the cubes to raise ticket prices next year. But I don't blame them, because you pay. You're the ones who are going to pay. You know, you make a statement, you don't buy the tickets. Say, I'll turn in my season tickets. And unlike in the old days, not getting a season ticket has nothing to do with you getting into the stadium. Nothing. In fact, I think it's wiser not to have a season ticket, buy the games that you want on StubHub, and go to the games. And you have to go to the crappy games. And then you send a message. They raise ticket prices 15 years without making a playoffs. It's incomprehensible that could be going on. Incomprehensible. Really is. It really is. Other football news, the college football playoffs, they announced the seedings on ESPN at noon yesterday, so before the NFL, and everybody's waiting for the choice between Miami and Notre Dame. And it was Miami that got in, and they had the exact same record. Most of the analytics with the two teams remarkably similar, and it comes down to the fact that Miami beat Notre Dame at the beginning of the season and beat them soundly. Notre Dame has since gone on to win 10 in a row. Miami has not played as well as they did against Notre Dame at the beginning of the year. But when it's that tight, the only thing that you could go with is head-to-head. And they gave it to Miami. Here's the one thing I don't understand about this college football committee. How was it over the last 5 weeks that Notre Dame was rated ahead of Miami? The last time they had a rating, Notre Dame was rated ahead of Miami. Neither team played. Miami did not play a game. They did not play in a conference championship, and Notre Dame's an independent. So somehow, some way, it flipped. How? How did it flip? Neither one of them played a game. And I'm not saying that picking Miami was the wrong move. I'm saying, how did it flip? What impacted it that Miami moved up after sitting behind Notre Dame for the last 5 weeks? And then, strangely enough, it wasn't even Miami and Notre Dame that was battling. It was really Notre Dame and Alabama. And I think Notre Dame finally got justice done to it because it remains an independent and refuses to join a conference. So Alabama's in the strong SEC. Alabama has not played well in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Alabama just squeaked by, I think it was Clemson team, and then they got waxed. They got waxed in the conference tournament by Georgia. And they make it, and Notre Dame doesn't. So there is your argument right there. Why did Alabama get in and not Notre Dame? Now, Notre Dame is in the ACC in other sports, and the ACC was fighting for its member teams to actually get into the tournament. And while they're doing that, they're dissing Notre Dame. So Pete Bavacqua, the AD of Notre Dame, is now angry at the ACC. So maybe they separate themselves from the ACC, or maybe they should just join a conference. Now, here's the thing that's debatable, and I wonder what you all think about this. If you're not in the college football playoffs, the other bowl games are jokes. What are they exactly? They're money grabs. They're bowl games that ESPN could televise. And Notre Dame said after a couple of hours after not getting in, they said, you know what? We don't want to go to a bowl game. We're out. We're out. Are they wrong for doing that? I'm sure they talked to the kids, right? And they're leaving some money on the table there. Because you do get money for being in a bowl game, and they don't want any part of it. Now, in addition to Notre Dame, Kansas State and Iowa State, both losing their head coaches to bigger programs, they also said they're not playing in a bowl game. But for them, they got to pay some money for sitting out. Because when you're in a conference, when you get bowl game money, it gets split with everybody in the conference. So if you're not going, you're taking money away from the conference and all the other teams. So each team, Kansas State and Iowa State, were fined $500,000 by the Big 12 each, which will then be distributed amongst the other teams. I'm telling you what, there's so many things wrong with college football. And I obviously think the playoffs they'll be fine, but it comes down to there's so much unrest. And there's so many things that are inexplicable. And all of these decisions are made behind the cloak of secrecy and behind closed doors. So why'd Alabama get in ahead of Notre Dame? Now, the knock against Notre Dame, yeah, it won 10 in a row, but it didn't really beat any great teams. So they are on the outside looking in, and they don't want to go to a ball game. And although it looks petty and they're acting somewhat petulant, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. What is the purpose of going to a ball game if you have no chance of winning the national title? To add another game onto the bones of these young kids? It's not like NFL players. These kids are still not even adults yet. You're going to tack another game onto them that means absolutely nothing? I think these bowl games are dying a slow death. Those that are not involved in the college football playoffs, they're dying a slow death. Why do people go to them? Why do teams go? Now, you could say if you got some young players, you want to get more practice time. I understand that side of it. But I feel very, very strange coming down hard on Notre Dame and Kansas State and Iowa State. Maybe they asked the kids, and the kids said, you know what, we don't want to go. We think we should be in the college football playoffs, and we don't want to go. So either the other bowls getting themselves aligned with the college football playoffs, or you wonder if they're going to go away. You wonder if they're going to go away. Again, not a great look for ND. It makes them look like, that they didn't get chosen to play, so they're going to take the ball and go home. And that's what they did. But again, I find myself hard-pressed to rip them. I find it hard-pressed to rip them. So what are they going to go to, the Massengill Bowl or whatever bowl chooses them? For what? Is that something that they're going to post in their locker room next year? Yeah, we won the Massengill Bowl against Michigan State, 25-10. It doesn't matter. It's a nothing. It's a nothing burger. And I don't think Notre Dame really needs the extra games or anything like that. It's not going to impact their recruiting. Now, you know that other schools are going to rip them with their recruiting against them and say, look, they wouldn't even play these games. I don't think it's going to affect Notre Dame. But Notre Dame really does have to think hard about joining a conference. But they're probably not going to do that because then they'd lose their NBC deal. They're the only college team that has its own television deal. They don't have to split it with anybody. And if they bolt out of the ACC, that hurts basketball, hurts all the other programs. So they got some tough decisions to make. They really do. 1-800-919-3776. Winter meetings essentially started last night. We'll get into that in the 2 o'clock hour. Some of the things that Brian Cashman said, what the Yankees are looking for. Don Mattingly not making the Hall of Fame, which was disappointing personally for me, and I'm sure disappointing for him as well. Contemporary Baseball Era Committee. Now, he did get over the requisite 5 votes. He got 6. He and Dale Murphy got 6 votes, so they would be eligible to be on another Baseball Era Committee ballot in 2028. And I did tell you guys this on Friday. These committees are not going to be in favor of Bonds and Clemens. They're not. They're going to be harsher on Bonds and Clemens than some of the writers, especially the young writers. So Bonds and Clemens, both in their last year of eligibility, got over 60% of the vote. They didn't even get 5 votes last year. So the next time they could be on any of these ballots, 2031. I don't think it's going to happen. And a guy that probably feels awful about it is A-Rod. because A-Rod's looking at those guys. They could actually pave the road for him if they got in. Now, he's still got, I think, about 4 years left, 3 years left on the writers' ballot. But unless there's an unbelievable change of heart about people involved with PEDs, I don't know if he's going to get in. Also not getting the 5 votes, Sheffield, although he said he admitted that he used the clear, right? He didn't know what it was. He said he's never, ever taken steroids. And Fernando Valenzuela, who was never even tainted with any of that stuff, he didn't get the requisite 5 votes either. So those 4 players, they will not get in until 2031. Jeff Kent got in, hit more home runs than any second baseman in history. But here's a curious thing. Let's say his WAR is 40, and I'm rounding it off, his WAR. Do you know that Lou Whitaker's WAR is like 61, and he can't even get on one of these ballots? So Alan Trammell's in, and now Jeff Kent is in, but Lou Whitaker can't even get on a ballot for a Veterans Committee while Jeff Kent got in. And it does prove one thing. Jeff Kent was not the friendliest guy with writers, and probably why he didn't get in with the writers, because they're human beings. Now, whether or not they would admit that it impacts, how they vote, it has to. It has to. But he gets in first try with this Veterans Committee. 1-800-919-3776. Time for the co-host. And let's start off with Mike in Bayside. Mikey.
Yeah, Mike, about the baseball, I can name more players on my hand that are better than Kent that should be in before him. Not even going to get into that. But going back to the football, I think that they should expand it to 32 teams, and I think they need to put something in it, like to make it college football again, meaning like if you stay at a school for 4 or 5 years and you graduate, you get 100% bonus on what you made. I mean, there's guys switching schools every year, and this nonsense, and then if you had 32 teams, you could really let every undefeated team in. You could let, the conferences, you have one person in, and you could start it earlier. And I think they should move the Army-Navy game to the summer, first game of the year.
Yeah, I know, but the one thing, though, Mike, is that these are kids. You can't have them playing 15 or 16 games. You just can't. And I don't care how many teams you have in there. There's always going to be arguments. There's 68 teams in the basketball March Madness, and there's always arguments. The 69th team thinks it should get in, the 70th team. So if you go to 32, the team that's 34 or 35, they're going to say that they deserve to get in, or 33. I don't think there's ever any perfect amount. And in football, it's not like March Madness. I mean, you're adding weeks and weeks onto the season. You want to start in the summer when they're not even in school? In the searing heat of August? I don't think that's a good idea. Now, as for Notre Dame, the field expands next year to 14 from 12, and there's this codicil that wasn't known until late last night that if Notre Dame is ranked 12th or higher, like 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, they're automatically part of the 14-field team. David on the east side. David.
Michael, if Robinson Cano hit 20 more home runs in his career, passing Jeff Kent for the most home runs by a second baseman, are we even giving Jeff Kent a second thought?
We are, because Cano got nabbed for PEDs.
Right, but then he's at least, even you have the PEDs, but Kent is still not the all-time most home runs by a second baseman. I think it adds a little. I think he got in because he. I don't know, David, because
Aaron Judge's 62 home runs. People consider that more than the 73 that Bonds hit.
All right, maybe. All right, agree to disagree. Anyway, I want to talk about Donnie Baseball. I'm distraught that he didn't get in. I think he'll get in eventually. But look at these numbers. For a 3-year period, he hit 200 hits for 3 straight years with 35 home runs in one of those years, 31 home runs in another year, and 23 home runs, and also led the league in doubles in each of those years. That's just so elite. He had one of the best 6-year stretches, and within that, a 3-year stretch that just doesn't really get appreciated enough. So I hope he gets in. You know what?
If I thought he had the best chance yesterday, and for him not to get in, I start to wonder if he's ever going to get in. And the best thing I could compare it to, he had a 6-year period that was, he was as good as anybody who ever played. And then his back gave out. And he became, a punch and Judy hitter. He wasn't the same player. Well, you can compare his career with Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax spent the beginning of his career in Brooklyn like sitting on the bench, as a bonus baby, so he had to be up on the team, but he never really pitched. He didn't find his fame and greatness until those 5 years in L.A. And then because of arthritis in his elbow, he retired. He got in, and really, if you look at his numbers, it was a 5 or 6 year stretch. But they're not giving Mattingly that same benefit of the doubt. I don't get it. I would love to hear the thinking, why he didn't get in. But people are saying that his greatness wasn't a long enough stretch. And I go, okay, if that's the case, fine. But you didn't apply that to Sandy Koufax. And nobody denies that Sandy Koufax is a Hall of Famer. Let's go to Bob in New Jersey. Bob.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good, Bob. How you doing?
Good. This is the first time I've ever called in, so this is a unique experience.
Welcome aboard, man.
So I'm a big Notre Dame fan, but I want to tell you my take. I think it's unbiased, but I wanted to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
So the committee kept saying that they don't want to drop a team if they do bad because they don't want to open up Pandora's box, that if you go into the conference championship and then you lose, that'll incentivize teams to not play. My problem is I'm okay with Miami and Notre Dame being flip-flopped if they got within one of each other. For 5 weeks, Notre Dame was ranked higher, but if they ever came close enough to being together, then okay, I can understand the head-to-head. My problem is if you're not going to drop Alabama, who got absolutely routed. I mean, Michael, me and you ran for more yards on the ground than Alabama did, -3.
That was amazing. Yep.
BYU gets routed. Why are you going to drop one team but not the other? Alabama should have stayed where they were. BYU should have stayed where they were. Set a precedent you can't drop. It should have been Alabama 9, Notre Dame 10, BYU 11, Miami 12. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, here's my main thought, and I'm glad you brought up about the conference championships. It's so clearly, Bob, a money grab. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. It's sold to the networks. They get a big sellout at whatever big arena they have, and it doesn't mean anything. So Alabama could get embarrassed by Georgia, and it doesn't have any impact whatsoever. So it's like the game never took place. It's like the game never took place. How is that fair? Why do we have conference championship games if they don't mean anything? They should mean something. It's ridiculous. It meant something in the Big Ten. Ohio State was clearly ranked above Indiana, and Indiana beat Ohio State. So they're the number 1 seed, and Ohio State's number 2. It didn't have that much of an impact because they both have byes. But if you're going to have the conference championships mean absolutely nothing, then we should all know that when we're watching it. This is an exhibition game. It's a money grab. It doesn't do anything for anybody except load the coffers of the network that televises it and also the conference's bankroll as well. That's it. It means nothing. And we see the same thing in college basketball. If you're considered like one of the top-ranked teams and you go into the ACC tournament and you lose in the first round, it doesn't affect you at all. So why are we having these tournaments? At least in college basketball, if a Cinderella team comes out of nowhere and goes on a run of winning 5 games in a row, they could win the Big East and they get the automatic bid. That hardly ever happens. So again, it means nothing except if somebody comes out of nowhere to grab a spot, which is going to take a spot away from a more deserving team too. So Alabama could be really embarrassed by Georgia, had not played well for the last 4 weeks, and they make it. So the game against Georgia didn't take place. It was a ghost. It didn't take place. And I've been saying this for years about conference tournaments and conference championship games. They're jokes. They're absolute jokes. And then people will go, well, if it means that much, then the whole season. No, it's a whole story that you build. That's what it is. It's the ending to the story. But this isn't even the ending to the story. It's like on the back jacket of the book. It doesn't mean anything. So why do we watch? For what? For what reason? There were some people that said, well, Ohio State didn't play as hard as it had to because they knew they were in. It wouldn't affect them at all. Okay, then what was the game about? Bragging rights to Big Ten championship? So it meant something to Indiana because they won the first Big Ten championship since 1968. So there was some bragging rights for them, and they're kind of like the little engine that could behind Signetti. I get all of that. But if it meant like you're going to lose your bye, I wonder if Ohio State would have played differently or could have played differently. We'll never know because we know these games mean nothing, absolutely nothing. Alabama's loss to Georgia proves that. Steve Young's going to join us in just a moment. We'll talk about a wacky NFL Sunday. Some teams that have been here for a long time, looks like they might not be making the playoffs. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply.
John Ryan.
Yeah, Dad.
I think I came up with a killer slogan for our law firm. D'Agostino and Associates, bite back.
Bite back?
Yeah. When someone hurts you, you bite back. We'll be the law firm that bites back.
Dad, that's brilliant. Accident victims, call D'Agostino and Associates and bite back. Hey, we could even put a big vicious dog on billboards everywhere.
Yeah, and Rottweilers on buses.
Hey, how about a toll-free number?
What are you thinking?
You know, like 1-800-BITE-BACK.
1-800-BITE-BACK. That's brilliant.
But what if people hear fight back?
Easy. I'll spell it out for them, like 1-800-BITE. Back. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Love it. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
All this talk about biting back got me hungry.
Me too. Want to grab lunch?
Sure. Hey, how about a jingle?
You mean like D'Agostino, law, bite back?
Ox Spine at New York Presbyterian is always in pursuit of a better way to heal the spine. We're getting more people moving again with minimally invasive, non-surgical, and surgical treatments with innovative solutions for every back and spine condition and your unique needs. Expert spine care is available now across New York City and Westchester. Find a doctor at nyp.org/oxspine. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
The holidays are here, and Amazon Pickup is your MVP of package pickup. Need that perfect gift like a brand new jersey for the big game? With Amazon Pickup, you can grab your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule at no extra cost. It's fast, it's easy, and it keeps your holiday surprises tucked safely away. So whether you're running from work or heading to the holiday party, Amazon Pickup makes holiday shopping worry-free. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games are the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
Like me, your Aunt Jules. I told you I didn't need a gift this year, but I secretly really want one.
Or me, your neighbor Frank. I hope you didn't forget I'm coming to your holiday party tonight.
Or me. Why does no one ever think of the voiceover guy? Anyway, New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games have more winners and top prizes up to $5,000. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
At Target, great memories start with great prices. Get gingerbread house kits for just $12. plus all the Wondershop baking must-haves. Gather the whole fam, grab some gingerbread kits, and start building sweet moments together. Then keep the joy rolling, baking up tasty treats with Wondershop that'll make the season a blast. Make unforgettable memories with incredible prices on gingerbread kits and Wondershop baking essentials. And step into the holidays, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
The ESPN New York holiday party, it's almost here. It's this Friday. This show, the Michael K. Show, and Don Hahn and Rosenberg are bringing the holiday cheer at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island, this Friday, December 12th. Once again, collecting unwrapped toy donations this year to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation. It all kicks off at 1 p.m. this Friday, December 12th at your mother's house. For more info and to purchase VIP access, check out the ESPN New York app. It's brought to you by Amazon Pickup, Security Dodge, and Spiked Aid, made for big city social stamina. All right, we're waiting on Steve Young. So what we'll do is we'll take some phone calls until then. Let's go to Gabriel in Brooklyn. Gabriel.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Can't complain. I'll be trying to get on the radio with you, but my work schedule, sometimes I'll be waiting, and then I have to go in the building and work because I work for the city. So
I totally
I don't
understand.
want you to be thinking that I'll be disrespecting you or nothing like that.
you.
But listen, college football to me is like the minor league for the NFL now, because there's like players are getting paid, coaches are getting paid, and they're leaving whenever they want to leave. And then we talk, like I told you about, I love football. But remember, we talk all the safety protocols for like concussion and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we just adding more games to college and more games to the NFL. So are we really about, are the leagues really about safety, or they're about their bottom lines, getting that money in? For Notre Dame, I think the reason that they're trying to, like, force them into a conference, because, you know, it's like they're, like, the only team that's basically left out there that's, like, a top team, like, you know, a top school that's not, like, in a conference, and they're trying to, like, pressure them into going to conference.
Yeah, but next year they're going to have the benefit, Gabriel, if they're in the top 12, they're ranked in the top 12, they're going to automatically get in. So, I mean, there doesn't seem to be any incentive for them to join a conference. It doesn't make sense for them. Now, one of our listeners, Brendan Taub, said, you make it sound like non-BCS college football playoff bowls are new. Teams happily played in these games for many years, even without a chance of winning the national championship. But if you get what you feel rooked out of a chance to win the national championship, you don't want to play in a game that doesn't mean anything. Because if you accept the bowl game that's not in the college football playoffs, Brandon, then you're saying in a tacit way, okay, we'll move on. It's not going to upset us. They're showing the world that they are upset. You know, with all the other bowl games, you know, if there were massive upsets or something like that, and you played in a bowl game, then you have a chance to win it. And for the other bowls, it's going to be teams that are not good. Teams that are, you know, one game over 500, that have the requisite 6 wins, and they want to get some further publicity for their school. That's what it comes down to. Really, that's what it comes down to. So there is a little bit of a difference. And the other two schools that said no, Kansas State and Iowa State, they lost their coaches to bigger programs, so they didn't actually want to do it. You know, their program's kind of in flux. Andrew in Long Island. Andrew.
Yeah, hey, Michael.
How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
I want to talk about the Yankees. Now, unfortunately, last time I talked to you, we got cut off when I was talking to you about Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you know, he's good against lefties, and he'd be cost efficient. And also, I want to read a couple of sentences here about what Steinbrenner said, Hal Steinbrenner. He said, Steinbrenner did admit that he prefers to cut payroll, but he again insisted that he's willing to blow by that for the sake of winning, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good that he says that. So, and I know Cashman could talk him into stuff. So it's also mentioned some other plays. Austin Hayes, he's 30 years old, and he's another one good against lefties with an 819 OPS, and he has a 949 mark this past season. And I think Okamoto, the Japanese player, would be good if they can get him because he has like a low strikeout rate and he has a high walk rate and 84% contact rate off of pitches 94 plus miles per hour.
Yeah, but
so that's also good too. And also Okamoto's a right-handed bat, and he comes with some, positional versatility.
But Andrew, he's going to cost a lot of money, and he's going to be a backup at third and a backup at first. They already have a first baseman. They already have a third baseman. So you're going to bring in somebody, and you don't want to pay them $25 million a year. So I think that removes Okamoto out of that. We'll talk more about this in the 2 o'clock hour. Now we are joined by the Hall of Famer, our good friend, Steve Young. Steve, how you doing?
Good, Michael. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. In watching the Ravens in that game, what do you think is wrong with Lamar? He just doesn't seem like the same player.
He's hurt. I mean, you're only what happens in your body, especially elite athletes, and especially supreme elite athletes, are so attuned to their body and what they can do and what they can't do. And when it gets limited, what happens is your game diminishes. You're not yourself, and you can see he's not himself. Now, there might be other things going on that we don't even know about, but something's going on that's diminished him so that he can't be who he is. And then I also think that the Ravens, the sign of the Ravens' retreat was before he was hurt. So you got a sense that something was not like completely right with the team, with the offense, with the explosiveness that they had. So I think that, we're looking at one thing, but I think we might be thinking at 4 or 5 things. But one of them's for sure that Lamar's not healthy. And when he's not healthy, I don't remember him playing hurt like this. And some guys game is not, sometimes their game is not as dynamic, right? It's not like they just stand there. They can let the ball rip. They can play hurt. His game is different. And so we just got to recognize that that's the prototype today. And we got to be patient with that as he tries to work through it.
All right, so my question is, and it's easier said than done, is it smart to play him if he's not 100%?
Yeah, but it's all about alternatives, right? And then you're in the mix of trying to win divisions and reclaim. Like, they have a chance, right? They've been at 6-7. They got a chance to get in the playoffs, but they can't play great defense. You know what I mean? They can't play. Like, they got to – our superstars hurt, rally out of the locker room. We're coming out, we're warming up, and we are going to lock it down everywhere else. And they can't get it done. So in other words, I don't blame anybody. It's just super hard when the king is hurt and diminished. Everyone's got to rally, and they just don't have that ability this year for whatever reason.
All right, speaking of the king, was Kansas City finally dethroned yesterday?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard now. I mean, they can still see it because with the Colts. Yeah, but without Daniel Jones, are they going to win a game? If they lose out, let's just say the Colts lose out,
right?
Which I think looks possible without a quarterback, right? You have a rookie out there playing, hasn't played at all in December of a big playoff run. You can see them losing out, and if the Colts disappear, there is a spot. And someone can claim it, and even the Ravens can claim it. There is a spot that the Colts are going to give up, and so nobody should give in yet. But they're not. They're just like the Ravens. They're not dangerous. You want to believe that they're dangerous, but they've got such flaws that even another king can't make up for it. And he's made up for it, and then gotten rally in December and January and gone won it before, but. There's just, their offensive line is now just tatters. Like, even if they make it, how do they score 28 points in a playoff game? I don't know how they do it.
Let me ask you about the strategy that Andy Reid employed yesterday, and I feel foolish even questioning the guy who's one of the greats of all time. 10 minutes left in the game, and he's on his side of the 50. On a 4th down, and he goes for it. I mean,
I know it's a gutty.
At that
well,
point.
you remember when he waved no, like no, we're not doing that. And then they called timeout. And then what happens, I think, is in the offensive side of it, somebody says this play is awesome. We have an awesome play. And I think that's when the risks to me are not done by ergonomics, like we're not gonna do some data dump and try to figure out what the data says to do. No, it's, do I have a great play or not? In context for the moment, do I have a great play? And so I think they came out of timeout, and the play they ran, I think, was a great play. Just didn't throw it well. Like, it was going to work. And so that's, to me, when you make, crazy decisions as a coach, or at least from a fan's perspective, it really is around, do I have a 2-point conversion? Well, it'd be great to go for 2 points, but I don't have a great play. Well, then don't do it. But if I do have one that I know contextually with what we've shown them this whole game will work, or at least I think it's got 90% chance, I'm doing it. And so I think it's the same kind of thing.
See, the one thing that I look at with that, Steve, is was the juice worth the squeeze? Because his defense was playing extraordinary. If you just play the punting game, you get the ball in a better situation.
I'm with you. I think what I'm gonna say the same thing again. When it comes down to it, you turn to the defense and say, "Look, we have a great play."
Right.
And we think it, you know what I mean? I hear you. And I think when it doesn't work, it's all on the board. All the decision making, all of the second guessing, it all is there. But ahead of it, and I think that's what, to me, great coaching is contextually figuring out a play that you think you love and is perfect for it, and then calling it. And how many times have the Chiefs in big moments, whether it's at the goal, mostly at the goal line, where it's all a lot of fourth downs at times when they've won Super Bowls, they've won playoff games because they had a great play. And so of all the people that I'm going to let judge whether you have a, because there's a lot of people that say, I have a great play. Like, what do you mean? You haven't had a great play in 10 years. What do you mean you have a great play? Right. Like, but he's the guy that has had lots of great plays and is kind of known for it. So I'm going to let him decide that.
As one of the great quarterbacks of all time, do you enjoy watching guys like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow? Was that a fun game for you to watch?
Yeah, because it's excellence. There's art to the sport. There's art to the position. There's so much that goes into it. It's not just a physical challenge. It's an emotional challenge. It's an intellectual challenge. It's a spiritual challenge at some level. Like, quarterback takes everything. And when you get people who are at the top of their game, especially in 2025 when the game's so much more wide open, the quarterback even can show more. Like, I always say, I wish I played today, because you could be more of who you are, especially if you can move around. And so, like, I love it. I honor it. I wish I could join. And it is a beautiful thing. And as a fan of football, if you forget about fantasy, forget about your team that you love, if you just love the game, you have to stand back and just relish when you get players like that. There's always a couple, 3 in a generation that you just love to watch them play, and as an art form. And we see it. I hope we see it again soon.
And how about, it wasn't as, I wouldn't call it an art form, but it was good old-fashioned football, Packers and the Bears. What'd you get from that?
I feel like I want to believe in the Bears more. I think that Ben is, like, coaching today. Innovative minds, offensive minds are the you talk about the kings. They're the kings of coaching today. Mm-hmm. Led by the big four, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and Sean Payton. They're the ones that figured out 10 years ago that the game's changing and I'm going to change with it. And then now they've infiltrated, because of their coaching tree, has infiltrated all over the league. And Ben's one of those guys that you just say, he gets it. And you get it offensively, because you can come up with, it's not just, great play calling. It's great scheming. It's innovation week to week. And so when you get behind on the road in a playoff kind of atmosphere, what do you have? And it's like the Bears showed up with something. Now, they didn't get enough. I get that. But they showed up with something. So I think I got out of the game. The Bears are more real than I thought in December and January. Like, I knew they were a good team or a better team. But I didn't really. So I really, despite them losing, I learned a lot. And I think that the Packers are still a work in progress. Like, I don't think they're as good as they could be, and especially offensively, especially with Jordan. He's a little bit of a riverboat gambler, and I like it, but I need him to tighten up a little bit. And I think that LaFleur's trying to do that. And I think if Jordan can tighten up and really get into that area where Josh Allen is, where Joe Burrow is, really kind of elevate his game, the Packers will go to the Super Bowl. But, that'll be the question.
See, I watched, the Bills and the Bengals in the snow and the Packers and the Bears in bitingly cold weather. And it's fun sitting in your living room watching that. But Steve,
yeah, right. The fire burning, it's awesome.
Is it fun to play in that at all, or is it miserable?
It's again because it takes all of you. You pour yourself into it every week, and when it gets important, it depends on how cold you're talking about. Like cold, like to me, some of the coldest games I ever played were 31 degrees and raining. You know what I mean? And it's the rain and the wetness that's miserable. That if it's snowing, it's fine. Now, if it's blizzarding, that's another story. But if it's snowing and it's crisp and like you got the warm heat, you got the flamethrower on the sidelines, you got the heaters, the other thing. You'd be surprised how not cold you are. It's when you get wet and windy and cold. And you watch players play in those games. It's miserable and tough to show yourself in those spots. But if it's just cold and gray, it was snowing even a little bit. Some of my favorite games in my life in college and the pro were when it was snowing a little bit, cold, fall, winter. Like I loved it. It was awesome.
Final thing, what'd you take out of Shador's performance and J.J. McCarthy's?
It gives hope, right? Wait a second, maybe because and development and you got to do it. Like what you don't want is a game like that from both of them, the last game of the season, because you're like, oh, is this real?
Right.
Like I'm glad they got another month to show because these teams need to know. I mean, especially the Vikings. You're talking about a guy that a coach that's in the mix, trying to get a team who can really go win it. Like he's that guy. And why they let go of Sam Darnold, I even thought of myself. He's loved him in the locker room. I know he just showed up out of nowhere. I know you made a first-round draft choice, but do you not get what's happening? And then they just let him go, and we got this young kid. Not that JJ, that's fine, but don't let quarterbacks go, especially if you know what you're doing. And the Vikings do. So I just hope that over the month that JJ can show enough to make everybody calm down in the offseason, the whole team, the organization, the players, and can kind of lock in on him. Because if not, the Vikings, this is where you get to where you just bounce around the league for 10 years looking for a guy. And they had one last year, and they let him go.
Michael Kay, along with Steve Young, joins us every Monday at this point. I don't know, Steve, if it's my age. I get choked up now watching commercials, and I don't even really know Daniel Jones, but watching that injury, I kind of got choked up because this guy has fought through so much. How did you feel watching that? I mean, it's a killer.
It was, there's moments when a kicker, a kid in college for a national championship misses a field goal, the rest of his life he's going to have to deal with it, right? So there's those kinds of moments. Mm-hmm. And there's moments like this, the injury, just you lived it. You lived it with Daniel. You were in New York. You know how difficult it was. You know how painful it was, and how much abuse he took, and how tough you have to be, emotionally tough, gritty, and then to show up in Indianapolis and get people are like, is this real? Is this real? Oh, yeah, it's real. Is Daniel Jones going to lead this team to play? Yeah. And to have all of that, and like you said, it's just crushing emotionally for him. Now he has to go get healthy off of an injury that you saw Aaron Rodgers at an older age. You never get right again. Now he's young enough he can do it, but that's the pain. That's the pain is I was there. And I was with a group that loved me and a team that needed me. And now, the team is ruined, possibly. And I'm kind of on who knows how long it's going to be. I'm not going to be able to start the season next year. It's a year injury. I might miss 2 years. So the pain is real. And I think people just tip your cap to Daniel Jones for the grittiness of coming from all that he was in New York and then going out there and doing that.
And to make it even worse, he's playing on a broken leg, and the injury occurred on the other leg. It's just brutal.
I know, it's just brutal. Well, that's what happens, right? That's what you're trying to perform, the grittiness of performance when you can't perform, right? How many people break your leg and go play football in the national football? Come on.
Right.
But that's the grittiness I'm talking about. And he got hurt. You can almost guarantee he got hurt because he was hurt, right? That's what happens. And that's what's even more painful, right?
Great stuff, Steve. Thanks so much.
All right, Michael. Great to chat with you, man.
Same here.
See you, buddy.
That's Steve Young. Always love talking to him on a Monday. And, I mean, the Daniel Jones, this guy is so stoic, right? And to see the way he reacted, slamming his helmet angrily down on the turf, because he's a free agent at the end of this year. Who's going to sign him? I mean, he's probably not going to come back until December of next year. You know, best case scenario, maybe the end of November. Who's signing him? I mean, he was ready to cash in, get big money, a second huge contract. And now it all goes away as his Achilles snaps. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all of your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who will win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers a 30% PBT. That's right. You can get in on the action with a 30% PBT tonight during the Chargers-Eagles game. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/K to bet on the game. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with the gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Out here, days are getting a little cooler, and mornings are starting with a few more layers. It's the season for more time at the grill, more feed for your animals. Heaters burn late into the night, and the woods start calling your name. We appreciate hard-working hands, shared moments, and love for our land. That's why season after season, we're here for your life out here. Tractor Supply.
The NBA is happening Christmas Day. 5 games, 1 unforgettable lineup.
That's what Christmas is all about.
Buckets for breakfast, breakaways for dessert. It's the holiday tradition.
Christmas is our day.
With star power from across the globe.
The stars, they are going to be out.
The best gift, you don't even have to unwrap it.
We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
NBA Christmas Day begins at noon Eastern on ABC and ESPN.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Hey, Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 8:15 tonight, Monday Night Football between the Chargers and the Eagles. Coverage will be on ABC7 and ESPN television. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew and try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. For those that have listened to me for a while, you know that I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. But when you watch how the Broncos-Raiders game ended, you really got to wonder. You really got to wonder. Broncos are up 24-14. Raiders have the ball. They have no timeouts left. The spread was 8.5 points. So the Broncos would cover. The Raiders connect on a pass. 4 seconds left. By the time they would get up to the line of scrimmage, time would have expired. So I thought it was a somewhat bogus penalty where they said delay of game, where the defense wouldn't let the player get up after making the catch. So that let the game continue. Here's what I don't get. So you have one more play left. You're down by 10. And Pete Carroll kicks a field goal. Pete Carroll, the coach of the Raiders. And you wonder why. You're not getting the ball back. There was not going to be an onside kick. That was the last play of the game. Shouldn't you at least try to connect on a Hail Mary? That I would understand. But to kick a field goal there doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. So when the line is 8.5 and that field goal goes through the uprights, I mean, there are people that had the Broncos that, probably smashing their head against the wall. And you see games like that and finishes like that, and you really wonder why anybody bets. I mean, you have no control. I mean, you could do the best guess that you could and hope that it happens for you. Or you could have a loss on your ledger on something like that, which makes no sense whatsoever. Now, do I believe that Pete Carroll was compromised in some way? No. But am I going to rip people that believe that because it made no sense to kick the field goal? None. So people that have the Broncos and they're giving 8.5 and they lose the game, you're wondering why? What just happened? And as long as the NFL is in bed with gambling sites, just like every sport is, you do have to answer to stuff like that. Because it's not like the hidden, non-talked about thing in the corner. Like Al Michaels used to always be cute and add little betting nuggets into his play-by-play. Like, wink, wink, whatever. But it's real now. It's out there. There's ads during the game. So when something like this happens, to have somebody lose a bet on a play that doesn't make any sense, you really do have to wonder. You really have to wonder. As for making picks, my 2 packs yesterday, I gave you the Rams, 8-point favorites, and they walked away against the Cardinals, so that was a win. And I apologize. I don't know how I ever thought, why would I take the Browns in that game? I know the Titans are terrible, but the Titans end up losing or winning the game. They're 4-point underdogs. And after Shedeur Sanders drives the Browns for a touchdown, they bring in somebody else to run a wildcat to try to get the 2 points. A terribly conceived play. So even if they had gotten the 2 points, maybe it goes into overtime, they score a touchdown and they do cover. But why did I give you that? I'm sorry, I was 1-1, and I've been 1-1 the last 2 weeks. But I did give you the Rams, and I gave you the Browns. I'm kicking myself for doing that. I apologize. With all my heart, I apologize. All right, we'll talk some winter meetings when we get back. 1-800-919-3776. Day 2 of the winter meetings. Also, we'll continue to break down the Hall of Fame with Don Mattingly not getting in and Jeff Kent getting in. It's the K Show. You're watching us on the ESPN New York YouTube channel, and you're listening on ESPN New York.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, this is Mika Zibanejad.
Hey, this is Adam Fox. Catch every Rangers game right here on 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
The Hess truck's back and it's better than ever. Roaring engines this year. Hess race cars are here.
The Hess stock car racers are loaded with lights, sounds, and a powerful racing motor. Only at HessToyTruck.com. Free shipping and batteries included.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino, nicknamed The Closer, continuing D'Agostino and Associates' legacy of helping the injured for over 35 years. My father, John D'Agostino, built this injury firm to help accident victims.
This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-BITE-BACK.
They call me The Closer because big or small, in court or out, I'm fighting to get the job done, to win, to get you every dollar you deserve.
D'Agostino and Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Listen up, folks. Never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Getting more as a MyLowe's Pro Rewards member is easier than ever with the Lowe's app. Download it today and earn 500 points the first time you log in. Plus, your digital wallet helps you scan, save, earn, and access what you need to manage it all in one place. Download the Lowe's app and take advantage of your Pro benefits today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 12/1/25 through 1/7/26. Offer valid for first login per organization only. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hour 2 of our 2-hour radio program. Coming up at 3, it's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. So the winter meetings taking place in Orlando started last night. John Heyman of the New York Post reporting that Pete Alonso, who lives in Tampa, is going to make the drive to Orlando. It's about an hour and 15 minutes from Tampa. And he's going to meet with the Red Sox and I believe the Orioles. And there's a part of me, I feel a little bad for Pete Alonso. He's a really good player. He's a terrific home run hitter. He's been a really outstanding Met. And it seems like he's got to sing for his supper all the time. Remember, the deal last year didn't get done until he met with Steve Cohen down in Florida. Shouldn't his numbers speak for themselves? So the fact that he is going to the winter meetings to meet with these teams would seem to tell you that the market is not as robust as Scott Boras is expecting it to be. Now, it's a little unfair to say that because there's a lot of time left to go. So maybe he does get the 6-7 year deal that he wants. I can't see it. I can't see the Mets going beyond 4 years. In all likelihood, they want to stop at 3, but because of the legacy aspect of it, they would probably go to 4. But if Boris is insisting on 5, 6, or 7 years, I think the Mets are going to be out. And I want to see the team that's going to offer a 6 or 7 year deal to a 31-year-old first baseman who's really a DH. I want to see that team. Can he do damage in Baltimore and Boston? Of course he could. In those ballparks, especially at Fenway Park. I mean, I think he'd hit 50 home runs or more. And with Camden Yards, they brought in the fences again in left field a little bit. It's a great place to hit. Maybe he'd do well there too. But the fact that he has to drive to Orlando to meet with teams, this is Pete Alonso. It just is. Did Juan Soto have to do that? Now, I'm not comparing Pete with Juan, but greatness doesn't have to sell itself. You kind of open up the stats and you go, here, you make a decision. That's what the agent should do. So why does Pete have to make that drive? Not that it's an arduous drive. I think it's I-4. It's not terrible, but it's just, to me, it's a kind of a weird look. Kind of a weird look. So Brian Cashman yesterday made the rounds. He got all of his media responsibilities out of the way. He was on the Yes Network Hot Stove Show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry and Meredith Morakovitz, and I think it was on for about 20 minutes. Then he was on the MLB Network. He met with the media. Now he can go about doing what he has to do. He did say, we're too left-handed. We've got to get a right-handed hitter. He also said that there is no limit to what the payroll is going to be. I had said last week that off of what Hal said, that it would be ideal to get under 300. And then, through the grapevine, you hear what their plans are and who they would be going after. It sounded like they would like to stay under 300, but Brian said, Hal says, bring me everything. And that's the one thing about Hal Steinbrenner. I think that he would go past 300. I think his intent, or as he said, the ideal outcome would be to get under 300. But if it doesn't happen, and Brian said, we really need this to complete the team, I think Hal would go over. So only time will tell. But with Brian saying, we really need to get right-handed, well, it does make you think. The guy that they have, admittedly been pursuing is Cody Bellinger. And though he hits lefties very, very well, he's left-handed. So you go around the diamond, Rice left-handed, Jazz left-handed, McMahon left-handed. You got the two right-handed outfielders, and then you got catchers that are left-handed, Wells and Rice. So it's a heavily left-handed team. So if you do, in fact, bring in or bring back Bellinger, that's one more left-hander in there. And it's not that he can't hit lefties. He can. But David Cohn has always told me, if you have a lineup, like if somebody would put a lineup together against David Cohn, 9 left-handed batters, he'd love it. He said because you only have to concentrate on that side of the plate. But if it's lefty-righty, then it becomes more difficult because you got to adjust. And you've got to aim for different spots, and it becomes a tougher thing to do. So I wonder why he kept accentuating the fact that they're too left-handed, they have to get right-handed. If you don't get Bellinger, and then you go with Dominguez in left field, Dominguez, to me, is a really good left-handed hitter. He's a really bad right-handed hitter at this point. Again, I don't give up on him because he's 23. He's got a world of talent, very athletic, extremely fast. It just does. I think the Yankees are going to pull something out of the hat that none of us are even expecting. I really do. And the only place that you could get a right-handed bat would be in left field. Now, I've been, for the longest time, advocating going for Fernando Tatis Jr., but that doesn't seem like it's gained much traction. That would be the perfect guy to get because, again, the average annual value of his contract is not that much, but you'd have to give up a truckload to get him from the Padres. But the Padres, they pretty much have to shed payroll, and they need pitching. They also need hitting, but they definitely need pitching. And the Yankees have a lot of good young pitchers in their system. And maybe the Padres would take a Will Warren and a couple of other youngsters to get rid of Tatis's contract. I'm not quite sure, but that would solve the righty-lefty problem. That would solve the righty-lefty problem. So, you've got a left-handed hitter in Grisham. You got the right-hander in Judge. And then you're going to look again, if you bring back Bellinger, another lefty. So that would mean the only right-handed hitters in your lineup are Judge and Volpe when he gets back. And Brian said that he expects Volpe back at the beginning of May. So for the time being, it would be Caballero. If they re-sign Rosario, they'll have that righty there as well. So 2 righties in the lineup. There would be 2 righties in the lineup. So he kind of shot down that they're going to keep the payroll under 300. So for Yankee fans, that seems like it's good news, right? He said that they're too left-handed. They need to bring in righties. So if you're going to re-sign Bellinger, the only way you make yourself more right-handed is that you bring in a really stout right-handed first baseman, and you platoon him with Rice, and a right-handed third baseman, and you platoon him with McMahon. Not sure if that's the way they will go. One other interesting thing that, the thing I like about Cashman, he's not afraid of anybody. He's just not. He doesn't play the game. He just doesn't. So Sonny Gray came out and said, I'm glad I'm in a place, he's in Boston now, where it's okay to hate the Yankees, because he says he hates the Yankees. And Brian said that when they made the deal with the A's, Sonny Gray was talking to a video coordinator who he went to college with, a video coordinator that worked for the Yankees. And he said that he desperately wanted to play for the Yankees. Tell Cashman to make a trade for me. I want to win a championship. So the video coordinator told him that, and Cashman pulled off the trade. He was unhappy in his first year and thought he was going to get traded at the trade deadline in 2018. And Brian didn't trade him because at that point he needed pitching. And he didn't know that Sonny Gray didn't want to be there. So after the trade deadline, he meets with Cashman and he said, I'm stunned you didn't trade me. I hate it here. I hate New York. I hate it. And Brian said, well, why didn't you tell me that? And why did you say that you love New York before we made the deal, that you wanted to play here? He goes, because my agent told me to lie, to not shut down the Yankees as a landing spot because I could get a better contract. Doesn't make Sonny Gray look good at all. Now, Sonny Gray's agent, I think his name Bo McKinnon, came out and said he never said that. He never told Sonny Gray to lie. That's not the truth. I'm going to tell you what. For Brian to come out against an agent who still represents other players and say that, if you ask me to believe somebody, I'm going to believe Cashman on this one. Why would Cashman say something so outrageous unless it was outrageously true? Why would he paint Sonny Gray in a way that wasn't true when he knows he might have to face Sonny Gray 6 times this year? And if they meet in the playoffs, more than that. Can you imagine that? Sonny Gray told a friend of his that, tell Brian to come get me. I really want to play for the Yankees. And he tells Brian, I hate New York. Sonny Gray is not going to have a good time. He's not going to have a good time, everybody, when the Red Sox are in Yankee Stadium. Because Yankee fans are not going to forget, and the Yankees won't forget. It's kind of surprising. It's kind of surprising. But I give Cashman credit. Not afraid of saying anything. He is one of those guys, he'll say whatever he wants to say. He doesn't care about the ramifications. If he has anytime that he and I have had an issue, he doesn't beat around the bush. He'll pick up the phone call, he'll call me, and he'll go and we'll go at it. He's that guy. He's not a guy that's afraid of conflict. And for him to say what he said, I give him credit. And I believe him. I don't believe the agent. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Matt in Floral Park. Matt.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Mike, I have a football question. You ended your last segment with a player getting hurt and losing out on a big payday.
Yep.
Is there such a thing, or can they take insurance out on themselves where if the team don't play them, they get paid sort of like normal people, workman compensation and something like that?
I know you could do that in college, Matt. And so I believe that you could do that in the pros as well. I mean, the insurance that most players have, but in football, not everybody, is a guaranteed contract. That's your insurance. But against something like this, I mean, the rate for that insurance would be so outrageously high because football is such a dangerous sport, and you're at the whim of who's going to trade for you or a freak injury like this, non-contact injury. Yeah, I guess you can make an insurance policy on yourself, but you'd be paying so much money for that policy. I know they do it in college. If a guy stays an extra year to make sure that if he blows out his knee or his Achilles, that he'll get the money that he would have gotten in the NBA or the NFL. I believe that you could do it in the pros. Let's go to Dave in the car. Dave.
Hey, what's up, Michael? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
I'm almost at a point right now about the way Shedeur Sanders was treated, where it's almost like I want to turn my back on the NFL for a while, and I want to get your opinion on this. 31 teams pass him up. You couldn't ask for him to come from a better genetic pedigree than Deion Sanders. In my opinion, what Jackson Dart said after the Patriots game about his way or the highway, how he plays ball, is worse than anything else Shedeur Sanders could have said in an interview before he came into the NFL. So my question to you is, shouldn't there be some scrutiny at the management level in the NFL if a guy like that can be passed up to the 5th round when you need not just a starting quarterback, a backup quarterback? Isn't that a black eye on the NFL and how they vet talent? What, you can't take Deion Sanders in your ear even though you're a GM making $40, $50 million? So what? The guy's dad might call you up or talk to the press. The guy can get behind center and win. He's doing an outstanding job. Dave, I just don't like the look.
But one thing, he's had one good game. He didn't play well the other 2 games. He had a great game yesterday. And it wasn't just one team that passed him by. You mentioned there are 32 teams. 32 teams passed him by for 5 rounds. In a league that they're desperate for quarterbacks. So, yeah, and he also lost a game, too. So, listen, the scrutiny is if he becomes a star. If he becomes a star, then every GM that passed him by is going to have to answer to it. But I've heard that people didn't want to deal with Deion. I've also heard stories, I don't know if they're true, that he didn't interview that well. You know, he is kind of really overly confident. And most quarterbacks are, but they didn't like the way he interviewed. And he was trying to decide where he wanted to go. He's trying to guide where he wanted to go, which is fine. Eli did that. But once you get to the 5th round, and we don't even know why the Browns picked him. It looks like Haslam made them pick him. It doesn't even seem like Stefanski wanted him. And then Stefanski makes the unbelievable decision yesterday after the guy throws for over 350 yards and drives him to a touchdown. He takes him out and goes with the Wildcat to try to get the 2 points. So there seems to be a disconnect there between Browns ownership and Shedeur, and then they went with Gabriel. And then Gabriel got hurt. That's the only reason that Shedeur is playing. I'm telling you, I can't speak to this 1,000%, but with the paucity of quarterbacks that are out there, if they thought that Shedeur Sanders could be a great quarterback, I don't know why they would pass him by. I don't know why. So I'm not going to get too giddy about yesterday, although I admit he looked pretty good. But remember, he looked pretty good against an awful team. The Titans are awful. We'll see how he does. Maybe he does become a great quarterback, and then every team is going to realize they made a mistake. But I mean, the thing I don't like is the conspiracy theories. Well, why did they not take him because of Deion? Whatever. Why was Tom Brady not taken? He lasted till the 6th round. And you know what? Every team that passed on him looks like they're idiots, like they're clueless, like they're clowns. That would be Shedeur Sanders' ultimate answer to all the people that didn't take him, that made him sit there for 3 days before he was selected. But when Tom Brady wasn't selected, did anybody come up with these wild conspiracies? Oh, the father. I know that Deion is not Tom Brady's dad. I get all of that. Tom Brady's dad had no standing in the NFL. He just was passed over because teams didn't think he was good. Maybe Shador was passed over because teams didn't think he was good. And now he has an opportunity to prove them wrong. Jay in Queens. Jay.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call, Mike. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Same to you, man.
Brock Purdy was thank you. Brock Purdy was picked pretty low too, and he's pretty good. So sometimes you miss. Talent's a hard thing to evaluate, especially at that position. Wanted to ask you a question about the Mets. I'm a Met fan, and I wanted to know, as far as them possibly trading for an ace like a Skeens or a Skubal, would it make sense to wait for these guys to be free agents and then throw the bank at them, or trade for them now and have them in the fold and then try and get a long-term contract? Just wanted to get your thoughts. Thank you.
Well, listen, Skeens is not available. Everybody wants to keep painting this fantasy that the Pirates are going to trade Skeens. He has 4 years of control left. 4 years of control. He just won a Cy Young Award. I'm going to trade him. The only thing that could go wrong for the Pirates is if Skeens blows out his arm. And then they lose the value. But they're trying to win with him. Now, the likelihood of them keeping him after the 4 years, probably very low. Now, you asked about Skubal with the Mets. The Mets are one of the teams, if they want to win in 2026, then they could trade for Skubal because they know that they would not get outbid. Who's going to outbid them? And they'll end up signing with them. But if you're a team that's going to make a run at Skubal and you know that you might get outbid for him as a free agent, I wouldn't give up the truckload of talent that it would take to get him and then lose him after 1 year. So you'd be giving up all of this talent for 32 starts and hopefully some starts in the postseason as well. You said, well, the Yankees did that with Soto. Yeah, and they got to the World Series with Soto, and he played 160 games, I think. So they got a lot out of him for the talent they got, and they thought that they were going to be able to keep him. It worked out that they didn't. But I think it's a gamble that they would do over and over again if they knew that it would get them to the World Series. So in answer, I don't think Skeens is available, Jay. And Tarek Skubal is going to it might take a Nolan McLean to get him. It might. I would say, well, we'll give you Tong or McLean or Sproat, but we're not giving you McLean. I think they would give up a McLean for Skeens because you know what? You got 4 years of control, but you're not going to give up McLean for Skubal because you're not 1,000% sure because the Dodgers could swoop in and then it could be the Dodgers against the Mets bidding. It was almost like the Yankees against the Mets for Soto. It could go sky high, and then you could end up losing them. Let's go to Ted in the truck. Ted, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. You were talking about how Notre Dame, is refusing to play in the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of problems with it because if you're a coach, you got 2 more weeks to develop freshmen and sophomores that will be on the team next year probably, where you can see which guys actually want to play football or not. And then on the other side, you got guys that aren't going to the pros that are seniors that, they thought they were going to have their last game, and now they don't have that closure of having their last game. And I remember when I played my last game, it meant something to me. Like, it was very nostalgic. You're walking on the field, like you want to have that closure of playing at, because all these guys, they've had full careers, and if you're not going to the pros, like to get that taken from you kind of stinks.
But one thing, Ted, let me throw this at you. Everything I've heard, though, the players voted not to play.
Yeah, well, maybe most of the players, but I bet you there's some seniors on that team that were like, I wish we were playing, but they felt like they had to agree with everybody else.
No, I mean, that we don't know, and that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I don't know if the voting was secretive. It could certainly have a mob mentality. If one guy says, I don't want to play, and it's a big-time guy, then everybody else raises their hand. But, Notre Dame is saying the players voted not to play. So I'm sure if the vote was close, maybe the administration would say, okay, let's do it. Maybe the vote was overwhelming not to play. We don't know. So it's not like the AD and Marcus Freeman said, that's it, we're not playing, and didn't even allow the players to chime in. Seems like the players said they don't want to play. If you are done a disservice in your opinion and you don't get a chance to play for a national championship, then I can understand why you say, I don't want to play any other game. I don't want to play a meaningless ball game. And I understand what you're saying, Ted. There's value, especially with younger players. But then there's some players that might, have NFL careers that they're dreaming of. And an extra game, you could rip your knee apart and all your value could be gone. You could blow out an Achilles and everything's gone. So maybe that comes into play as well. We'll risk that to win a title. We're not going to risk that at the Massengill Bowl. We're not going to do it. Not worth it to us. Talk more about the Hall of Fame where Don Mattingly on the outside looking in again. That's in a moment when we come back. FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who will win. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers a 30% PBT. That's right, you can get in on the action with a 30% PBT tonight during the Chargers-Eagles game. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/K to bet on the game. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus, physically present in New York, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
1 in every 6 men is likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That's why New York Presbyterian wants to remind men over 50 to book a prostate cancer screening. A simple blood test is all it takes. It could save your life. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester at locations near you. Schedule your annual prostate cancer screening today at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Whether you're shopping, gaming, or streaming this holiday season, don't take slow for an answer. Get Optimum Fiber for the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds, starting at $25 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com to switch. Act now and get Netflix, a 5-year price lock, and $100 back, all on us. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
The holidays are here, and Amazon Pickup is your MVP of package pickup. Need that perfect gift like a brand new jersey for the big game? With Amazon Pickup, you can grab your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule at no extra cost. It's fast, it's easy, and it keeps your holiday surprises tucked safely away. So whether you're running from work or heading to the holiday party, Amazon Pickup makes holiday shopping worry-free. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
For over 100 years, Slomin's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, we deliver more than just quality fuel. We deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, 24/7 service, and up to 30 days to pay your invoice. Our dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Sloman's, New York and New Jersey's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving our community for generations. Give us a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomans.com.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bath Fitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement. Plus, a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
The holidays are rolling in, and if men in your life are struggling with their holiday wish list, tell them to add Manscaped to make gift giving easy, fun, and completely stress-free this year. From the beard hedger to the lawnmower trimmer, Manscaped's precision tools keep you looking sharp, feeling confident, and ready for every event and celebration all season long. These aren't just stocking stuffers, they're upgrades for your daily routine. And right now at Target, you can save 20% on the Lawnmower 4 and 3 kits, Handyman, and the Beard Hedger. Hurry up, supplies won't last long.
Rich Eisen here, and we're brought to you by Sonos. The holidays sound better with Sonos speakers. Whether it's a movie night that feels larger than life or the roar of the crowd as your team takes the field, Sonos helps create the moments you'll remember. Beautiful design, incredible sound, and effortless control mean you can focus on what matters most, enjoying the season. I love Sonos, and so will you. Discover how easy it is to bring every room to life with incredible sound. Explore Sonos speakers, soundbars, and more at Sonos.com.
All right, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Don Mattingly does not make the Hall of Fame. 19th time he was up for consideration, and he is 0 for 19. 3 years ago, he fell 4 votes shy. This year, he fell 6 votes shy. He needed 12 out of the 16. He got 6, as did Dale Murphy. Everybody thought that Dale Murphy and Mattingly would get in. They didn't. The only one who got in was Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent got 14 votes. Hit 290 in his career. 377 home runs, the most ever by a second baseman, over 17 seasons. The next closest to getting in, Carlos Delgado. Not many people considered that, he would get that much consideration, but he got 9 votes. And Mattingly and Murphy got 6. Bonds, Clemens, Sheffield, and Valenzuela each got fewer than 5 votes, which means they are ineligible for future ballots until at least 2031. So I guess the best comp when it comes to numbers for Mattingly is Kirby Puckett. The numbers are almost identical, but Kirby won 2 World Series with the Twins. Don got into the playoffs once in 1995 through no fault of his own. Yankees didn't have pitching in the 80s. They had a great offense. They had no pitching. So Mattingly played wondrous baseball for 5 or 6 years, and then his back gave out, and he became a different player. I think the most he ever hit after that 6th season was 10 home runs in a season. So he wasn't the same guy. And so the best comp I could have for that when it comes to Mattingly is Koufax. Koufax had a run of 5 of 6 years where he was the greatest pitcher who ever lived. But you look at the rest of his career, at the beginning, when he started his career in Brooklyn, he was a bonus baby. So when you sign somebody to a certain amount of money bonus, they had to be on the roster. They had to eat up a roster spot, and he never pitched. Didn't control his stuff in L.A. It all came together, and he became Sandy Koufax. So he had an unbelievable year his last year, and then retired because of an arthritic elbow. So his career was cut short because of injury, but he didn't play after that. And his bad years came at the beginning. Mattingly's great years came at the beginning, and then the last memory you have of him is of a somewhat diminished player. Mattingly, because he got over the requisite 5 votes, could be eligible for the committee again in 2028. Every 3 years they give you that. And as for Kent, I think his WAR was about 40. Lou Whitaker's WAR is 61, career WAR. Willie Randolph's WAR is higher than 40. But Kent gets in. It's ironic that Kent gets in and Bonds still doesn't get in. And I told you all on Friday, these committees are not going to skew in favor of guys connected to PEDs. They're just not. The former players are not going to let them in. They're just not. But the worst argument, and it came up again, and it's from people I respect as well, the Hall of Fame is a museum. And because it's a museum, the story of the Hall of Fame can't be told without Bonds and Clemens. That's why they should be in. Nonsense. They are in. They're all over the hall. Artifacts from their career all over the hall. It's not like they've been whitewashed out of it. They're in the hall. They're not in the plaque room. I think that's the silliest argument. It really is. The thing I feel for with Bonds and Clemens, they never failed a test. They have maintained their innocence. And in the case of Clemens, he has taken that to court and won. And still nobody believes him. He has gone, I always say, well, if you're innocent, why wouldn't you go to the top of the mountaintop and scream? Bonds has not done that. Clemens has. But he won't get in. He won't get in. So their best chance is with the writers. And I've told Alex this off the air. Alex, come back. Get a couple of at-bats for the Marlins. They'll get a big crowd. You're still in great shape. And if you do that, it resets your clock. Because he's running out of his 10 years. And unless there's a dramatic change in the voting block, because the younger writers seem like they don't care if he did PEDs. That's why Bonds and Clemens got 60%. I said to Alex, if you could reset your clock and then retire again, and then it would be 5 years before you're eligible, you'd add 15 years where the older voters might not be there anymore, and younger voters will take over. That's your best chance to get in. Because you have to look now, the fact that these guys are not getting in with a specialized committee shows that they will never, ever get in. The best they will do is 60%, and the way you get in is 75%. 1-800-919-3776. Teddy in New Jersey. Teddy, talk to me.
Hello. I was wondering what you think of since Stanton and Grisham have both declined recently. Well, Grisham had the hamstring injury. If you could platoon them at DH and then if you bring in outfielder, Bellinger and Dominguez can both play, so Dominguez still develops. But that's it. Thank you.
Well, why would you take Grisham out of center? I mean, that's one of his strengths. Now, his metrics have gone down, but he's still a pretty good center fielder. And why would you take at-bats away from Stanton? Stanton's not a guy who can't hit righties. And Stanton had a great year. He didn't decline. He had a bad postseason, but he had a great year. You look at his numbers and you extrapolate them over 162 games, it would be an MVP-type season. He didn't decline. And Grisham had 34 home runs, more than he'd ever hit in his career. So, no, I wouldn't do that at all. Grisham's a one-year deal, $22 million. He's going to play center field. Let's go to Andre in Red Bank. Andre. Hey, Andre.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the Sanders thing.
Okay.
The other caller mentioned Brock Purdy, and you mentioned Tom Brady, but that's not really, those aren't comps for Sanders. Neither of those players was highly touted at all the way Sanders was. And as I was saying to your screener, Mel Kiper was apoplectic in reference to how Sanders should have been drafted way earlier. And obviously, it's the jury's still out, but he looks a lot better than like a Zach Wilson ever did. So I think that's what's missing here is that he was highly evaluated. So I just think you're dismissing that.
No, he was highly evaluated by Mel Kiper. Others did not think that highly of him.
I mean, yeah, well, yes, some, but no one thought he was going to last to the fifth round.
Okay, so Andre, let me ask you a question. Since you sound like you're a fan,
yes.
Why did 32 teams
I'm
pass
not,
on?
I'm a Giant fan.
You're a football fan. But why would
yeah.
32 teams pass him by for 4 rounds? Why? Because they didn't like him?
It could be partly his dad. It could be partly people, thought he had an attitude or whatever. But still, I feel like for him to be passed through by that many people. Obviously, something was not right. But we'll see,
you know what?
We'll see what happens.
We are totally in agreement. Something was up. What it was, I have no idea. I cannot believe, under any circumstance, that anybody would pass a kid by with extreme talent because of whose dad is. Nobody passed by Peyton or Eli, and their dad is very, very influential. Well, what, are they afraid of Deion Sanders? But they weren't afraid of Archie Manning? That doesn't make sense to me. Something that we don't know. Maybe he interviewed poorly. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like the way he looked in Colorado. He's got, as they like to say, he's got the pen. He could write the rest of the story. Go out, be great. Be the way you were yesterday. Be like that for the remaining 4 games. Make it very difficult for the Browns to not start you next year. Because why would a coach who you would think that Stefanski's, job status is up in the air, why would they risk that? Because they don't like the guy's dad, or they're afraid of the guy's dad saying something publicly? That doesn't make sense to me. Let's go to Keith in New Jersey. Keith.
Yeah, Michael, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. I'm a little confused by your Alex take about should go to the Marlins. To me, Rodriguez is somebody who cheated to get the numbers he's got, and now you want to kind of cheat to get back on the ballot?
Well, he is on the ballot. I'm just saying you give him something. Well, it's not cheating. If nobody wants to sign him, then he can't do it.
Well, right. But don't you think that's kind of suspect? Go take a couple bats so you can get on the ballot again?
Oh, absolutely it is. But that's the only way he has any chance of making it. Because you'd have to agree, Keith, 696 home runs, if we take away the PDs, which are hard to take away, and the year suspension, which you can't take away, he's one of the greatest players who ever lived. How he got to that point, we don't know.
Right. So that's why I wouldn't put him in. You don't know how long he was using steroids.
No, we have no idea. And you know what? There are people in the hall right now, Keith, that use steroids, and they got away with it because they weren't implicated. I mean, David Ortiz supposedly was on that list and failed a test. He's in the Hall of Fame. And I can tell you for a fact that there are people in the Hall of Fame that everybody in baseball kind of winks and nods and knows that they did PEDs, knows they did it. That's the only thing, if I'm Bonds and Clemens and Sheffield and A-Rod, that would rankle me, because they know there are people in that hall that use PEDs. And it's like the guy who was doing 85 miles an hour on the sprain and didn't get caught by the radar. And the guy got pulled over who did 80 miles an hour. And he knows that the guy just zipped by him 5 minutes ago and he got away with it. There are guys whose faces are emblazoned on plaques in the Hall of Fame that were recidivists of PED users. That's, I think, what really gets these guys. You think that those are the only people that use PEDs in baseball? No. They got sloppy and they got caught. And I'm not saying it's unfair to keep them out. I am not saying that. And I'm trying to do the workaround, saying go and get the at-bats and see if the voting block changes, because you're not cheating in this sense, because I'm sure that the younger the voting block gets, they don't care about PEDs, just like NFL voters don't care about PEDs. There are guys in the NFL that use PEDs that were suspended for PEDs, and they're in the NFL Hall of Fame. But in baseball, it's looked at as sacrosanct by the older voting block. And I've always said this, if I had a vote, and I don't, I would not vote for anybody that failed a test or was suspended. I wouldn't. So that means that I wouldn't vote for Alex. I wouldn't vote for Manny Ramirez. I'd have a hard time with Clemens and Bonds because they didn't fail tests. Because once again, the thing that rings true is that there are guys in the hall that use PEDs. And they just got away with it. And everybody in the know knows they did. But it's hard to not vote for them when they were never, accused of it publicly. Again, it was wink, wink. They were never accused of it publicly. I've always said this, everybody. If Andy Pettitte did it, who's one of the finest human beings I've ever met in my years covering sports, if Andy Pettitte did it, I don't put it past anybody to do it. Anybody. You could think of the most squeaky clean guy in the Hall of Fame. Would I bet my life that he never did a PD? Nope. Because if Andy Pettitte, again, as fine a human being as I've ever come across in professional sports, if he did it, then anybody could do it. Anybody. And that's probably the biggest gripe that guys like Bonds and Clemens have. They know. Players know who did it. They know. Canseco said 75% of baseball was doing it. A lot of people got away with it. And the thing that got Alex was a paper trail. It was a paper trail that got him. 1-800-919-3776. Giants didn't play yesterday, but they come out a winner. We'll talk about that in just a moment when we get back on the K Show, ESPN New York.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
D'Agostino & Associates is a legacy firm, and I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured.
The hustle and grit of these streets shaped me. I'm John D'Agostino, and from the concrete to the courtroom, I built this injury firm 35 years ago to get accident victims justice. So call my team first, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
You want justice? Think Jenna D'Agostino. Think D'Agostino & Associates. Justice isn't just a word. For us, it's a way of life. It's having compassion for your struggle and getting you paid for your pain. Now that's justice. D'Agostino & Associates means being there for the injured.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply.
New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games are the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
Like me, your Aunt Jules. I told you I didn't need a gift this year, but I secretly really want one.
Or me, your neighbor Frank. I hope you didn't forget I'm coming to your holiday party tonight.
Or me. Why does no one ever think of the voiceover guy? Anyway, New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games have more winners and top prizes up to $5,000. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Clinton Yates here, and the holidays are upon us, full of gatherings, toasts, and plenty of cheer. And if you're like me, you want every moment to shine. That's why I head to Total Wine & More, where you'll find it all at the lowest prices, from rich whiskeys and smooth tequilas to festive liqueurs and elegant champagnes. And if you're not sure what to grab, their guides will help you find bottles that impress. You'll always find what you love and love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly. B21.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
ESPN New York is throwing a holiday party you don't want to miss. Join us Friday, December 12th at your mother's house in Garden City Park. We'll be broadcasting the Michael K. Show live from 1 to 3, followed by Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg from 3 to 7, all while supporting a great cause. Bring a toy to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation and help make the season brighter for local kids in need. It's the ESPN New York Holiday Party, Friday, December 12th, brought to you by Spiked Aid, Security Dodge, Amazon Pickup, and ESPN New York.
All right, so the Colts have made it official. It is a torn Achilles for Daniel Jones. He will undergo surgery at some point this week and probably miss most of next year as well. Just a terrible, terrible blow. Giants had their bye week. They certainly were front and center on the NFL shows. Jameis Winston was on Fox, and Russell Wilson was on CBS. They both did okay. I was switching back and forth. Jameis Winston's a character, I'll tell you that. He's so over the top that you wonder if that plays over, 18 weeks. To see him be kind of that outrageously goofy guy. I guess it plays with Gronkowski, but he's not even close to what Jameis Winston is. Gronkowski plays the lunkhead. Jameis Winston, almost plays like the clown. So maybe network executives would like that. Anyway, how did the Giants win yesterday? Well, because the Titans lost, the Giants now hold the number one pick in the draft. Number one, because of strength of schedule. And so they're the same record as the Titans. Titans schedule does not match up with the Giants schedule, so the Giants get the number one pick. If it remains this way, and the Giants do have some winnable games for the remainder of the year, but if it stays this way, the Giants are in the catbird seat. If you watched Indiana against Ohio State and you like Mendoza a lot, then you're going to trade with the Giants to get that pick. The Giants had their quarterback, right? That's Jackson Dart. It's not like Arch Manning's coming out. At least we don't think so, where the Giants would think about taking him. Giants now could say, how much? How many picks coming my way? This pick is up for sale. Catbird seat. Now, is it going to be Joe Shane who makes that auction? I don't know. But whoever's in charge of the Giants, they now are in great shape to extort anything they want out of a team that desperately needs a quarterback. Might that be the Jets? Don't know. Remember, the Jets have those 5 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. Maybe the Giants get a couple of them if the Jets really did fall in love with Mendoza. Let's go to Joe in Manhattan. Joe, talk to me.
Hello, Michael. I was calling about Don Mattingly.
Okay.
And the people who've gotten in around him, like Harold Baines and Puckett, are annoying enough. But the one that struck me is Koufax, because in 1962 to 68, they raised the mound and increased the strike zone for the pitchers. I guess they didn't want to pay all those guys hitting home runs. So, he had that advantage. His weakness before that was control. And I don't know. I'm not sure Mattingly belongs in the Hall of Fame, but with all those other guys, I think he certainly deserves serious consideration.
Well, I think he deserves consideration, but I'm not going to sit here and question Koufax, because whatever they did with the mound, and I believe they lowered the mound after 67, he was already out of the game, but he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So there were other pitchers that pitched during that time, and they were not as dominant and unhittable as Sandy Koufax. Sandy Koufax is a legitimate Hall of Famer. But the beginning of his career was a zero. As you said, he didn't have command, whatever the case may be. It was a zero. And Mattingly, his bad years were after his great years. Koufax, it was a little bit different. Charlie in Phoenix. Charlie.
Hello, Michael. Charlie here in Phoenix. Michael, I just want to commend you on the great show that you have there, and thank you for all your time that you put into it.
Thanks.
Quick question. What about Thurman? Can Thurman get into the Hall of Fame? If not, what can we do to get him in there? Because I think he deserves to be in there. I mean, I think he was well on his way to having the numbers to qualify, but I think he's also in there now. There's also other cats in there that had numbers comparable to him, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
So
I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance. There's nothing that you can do about it. Everybody runs these committees and they try to, pump up a guy's candidacy. It does, believe me, it doesn't do anything. You could try. I mean, there are people doing that for Tommy John. There's people doing that for Thurman, and it's great that you're trying, but I don't think it influences the voters. They look at the numbers and they decide. So there's nothing you could do. I think Thurman has a chance. It seems like he's gained some traction over the years, but the next committee that he's eligible to be voted on, let's see if he gets in. We didn't even mention the Knicks' big win over the Magic yesterday, 106-100. The Knicks are 13-1 at MSG, and tomorrow they play their cup game in Toronto against the Raptors. So quarterfinal cup game. We'll break that down a little bit tomorrow as well. Really, really fun show. Thank you for being part of it, as always. Coming up, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. I will talk to you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for a goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the